So you've got a sales call coming up. You're part excited, you're part anxious, you're part like, what am I doing? I remember when we were switching from a self-service model to a sales-driven model at ToutApp. It was an incredible rush because on our self-service model, we were selling at $30 a month and people would just swipe the credit card. We didn't have to talk to anyone. But on our enterprise model, our sales-driven model, we were closing 5-figure deals, 6-figure deals. And as we started to get into those deals, we had to do sales calls. And as we were going into those sales calls, it took us a little bit of time to really hone in on the process and make sure we were running our sales calls the right way to be able to close those kind of deals. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 3 principles you absolutely need to know to run a killer sales call. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. I drop a video every Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday to help you grow your SaaS business faster with actionable strategies and videos that have the TK energy. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon. If you're already part of our community, if you are part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, welcome. It's so awesome to have you here, truly. All right, so there was this time where when we first started ToutApp, we primarily had a self-service business, meaning people will sign up, start a free trial, and we would run a very specific process, and we would get them to swipe their credit card at $30 a month, and then it went to $49, and then it went to $79, and then we were selling at $125. Anyway, they just swiped the credit card. There was no sales process involved. But then we switched. We switched to more of a sales-driven model because we realized that we could actually grow our business faster through a sales-driven model. And that's when we started to really dig into sales. Now, you might be wondering, well, how did you switch? How did you know to switch? I'll give you the quick story, and then I'm gonna dig into the 3 principles you need to know to run your killer sales calls. But the way it happened was we were running our self-service business, and this one company, this guy named Daniel Barber and Andrew Riesenfeld reached out, and they were part of Responsys at the time. Responsys was a public company, and they reached out, and they literally I think they were talking to our support person or something, and then they got to me because we had no salespeople, so I guess I took the call. And they're like, hey, listen, we want to buy ToutApp for our entire team. And it's going to be a sizable size team. So it's going to be like a deal. And we want to pay up front. And I'm like, okay. And we had never done anything like that. And then they were like, but we have a condition. I'm like, okay, what's the condition? They're like, you cannot sell ToutApp to ExactTarget, meaning only we can use it. You can't sell it to ExactTarget was their core competitor to Responsys. And I'm like, we had never done anything like that. And I'm like, no, we're not doing a non-compete. We'll sell it to whoever wants to use us and we'll pay for it. So no, we're not doing that. And then the call just ended and I'm like, I don't even know. Our business is fine with this self-service model. And 5 minutes later, the phone rings again. It's Andrew and Daniel again. And they're like, okay, we'll buy it. Just don't sell it to them for 3 months. And in between those 2 calls, we had our internal system, so people were just signing up for trials. So I went in the internal system just to see if ExactTarget was starting a trial, and it turns out they did. So on the second call, I'm like, hey, listen, guys, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. ExactTarget is already trialing the product. I had no idea they signed up. Beauty of self-service businesses. And right then and there, Andrew and Daniel were like, okay, we'll buy it. And they bought for their entire team. And we were like, that's weird, and that's kind of cool. We should do more of these kind of deals. And we had an aha moment with that because we were like, oh, we don't have to just wait for one team member to come in and kind of convert on their own and invite more. We could just go after these large companies with large sales teams and sell top down. And that's when we switched to a sales-driven model that drove a significant amount of our growth and ToutApp, and then we sold to Marketo. So that's how that sales model came together. When we started selling top down, we started to think about, well, how do we run the sales process? How do we run the sales calls? How do we navigate this? How do we get them to realize? And so a lot of the principles that I teach you come from both the self-service side, which is now known as product-led growth, and also driving a sales-driven model as well, because we had both at ToutApp. Marketo was much more of a sales-driven model. There was actually no way you could trial a product. So anyway, if you want to run your sales calls, this is what I learned. I learned these 3 core principles to make sure that every sales call that you were really going into, you would crush it. It would be a killer sales call. So if you're excited to dig into the 3 principles, actually, now that story time is over, go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't already, and let's go into principle number 1. So principle number 1 of running your killer sales call is ask the why. Now, this is a little counterintuitive because I know how it is. When you're going into the sales call, you're super excited. You're like, you want to show them the awesome product that you have, and you want to show them how amazing you are. You want to show them your sales pitch. You're like, we're the best. That was baby TK. And then I learned the hard way that don't jump into a demo, don't jump into a presentation. You should just ask why. Here's the thing. If someone decided to get on a call with you, a sales call, doesn't matter if you cold call them or you outbound emailed them or they clicked on an ad or they filled out a talk to sales form, ultimately there was some rationalization that happened in this person's head to decide that, hey, I'm going to carve out time out of my day to meet with this salesperson. And they know they're meeting with a salesperson, so they know they're going to get sold to. They still did it. And so the first thing that I learned, and now we do this in our sales processes as well, is like, ask the why, meaning, hey, what's the main reason that you prioritize this today? Or why is this piece of software top of mind? What's going on in your world? And you want to just ask, like, not even like a naive, like, hey, what are you doing here? It's more like, hey, like, you prioritize this. I really value your time. I know you do too. Tell me what's going on in your world. Tell me what's top of mind that makes X platform a priority right now for you. And everything changed once we started doing that because it helped us understand. They would just spill the beans. They would just tell us all the reasons why this is a priority. They weren't, tout it was all about generating more pipeline. They would tell us, they weren't hitting their pipeline number, or they have bigger growth goals, or they're hiring more people, or they're building out an SDR team. They would literally just tell us what their priorities were without us having to ask a lot of annoying questions. So rule number one of killer sales call is ask the why. Why did they prioritize this? What's going on in their world? And you'll get them to spill the beans and really understand what's going on in their world. And if they're vague about it, ask some follow-up questions around, well, what are your big priorities right now around X? X being the space that you generally do. If you're selling CRM software or MarTech software, ask them about their growth number. If you are selling HR software, ask them how they're hiring. So you can actually probe a little bit more before you jump into everything else. Okay, so that's principle number one. Principle number two is you should actually frame the opportunity and the transformation. This is what I call a strategic narrative. It's also what I call a manifesto. I talk about this a lot in this channel. A lot of times I'll talk to founders, they're like, hey, we're having these enterprise conversations. Sometimes they'll come inbound, but they just drag on forever and they keep bringing on people. They forgot what they're even here for. This is why it's super important that once you understand their why and what their priorities are, what the big trigger points are, you should actually tether that with your strategic narrative and your manifesto. This is, the big opportunity you have, the big transformation you're bringing, and that's how it ties into why they need your platform. If you don't have a strategic narrative yet, if you don't have a manifesto yet, then you should definitely check out this video where I talk a little bit deeper into how to actually craft one, the principles around them, and why you absolutely must have one. Otherwise, your sales process, your deals will completely go AWOL. So principle number two is instead of jumping into a demo or just saying, hey, we're awesome, actually craft the narrative, frame the opportunity and transformation you're going to bring using the software, that's a strategic narrative, and they'll actually help tether the conversation. And ideally, as you're saying that, it'll align really well with the why that they've already highlighted for you. One of the things I constantly hear from clients in my SaaS go-to-market program, in my go-to-market program, we actually go deeper into how to craft your strategic narrative and your strategic message. One of the things I always hear is once we know we've nailed the narrative, when they come back and they're like, we were using it on a sales call and people were just like nodding. The clients were like, their customers were like just nodding. They're like, oh my God, this is us. That's when you know you've nailed the narrative. And when you do that, step number two, after you ask their why, then you're actually tethered to something. Everyone's on this common purpose, and they'll help you drive and navigate that sales conversation into actual concrete next steps and demos and everything else. All right, I have a principle number three, but before I go in, let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? Can you start to see just by following these two principles, how you can completely transform how you run your sales calls and how you can actually go into it and navigate it in a much more informed fashion. It's just giving them a demo and saying, do you want to buy, right? It actually helps you up-level your game. And this is something that we learned the hard way through, we got into sales like kind of accidentally. We were coming from a self-service business and we had to teach ourselves this. Can you just see the power in this? If you can I just get a yes in the comments below? I want to hear from you. My team loves hearing from you. We respond to every comment. So comment below with a yes. Ask any questions you have so far. And if you haven't already, smash that like button. Also, if you are thinking through this stuff on how to design your sales process, how to have a strategic narrative, how to actually get more of a sales-driven model going, be sure to check out my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. In it, we actually help you define your ICP, your strategic message. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video, but let's go to principle number three. Principle number 3 is once you've asked the why and you really understood the customer and you framed your message around the opportunity and the transformation, that's your strategic narrative, then you want to get into like, all right, a little bit more detail. Now, here's the thing. These two things, if you've got an hour meeting, these two things can easily take up 45 minutes if you're having a really quality conversation. Quality conversations mean they're talking about why this transformation is important, why the strategic narrative makes sense. They're nodding, they're like, oh my God, and they're asking questions. And really buying questions at this stage or engagement questions at this stage are not about, does the product do feature X? It's never a feature discussion. It's more of a transformation discussion. So if you're at the 45-minute mark and you're kind of like running out of time, you're better off, principle number 3 is you're better off not going into a demo, but asking about next meeting. Saying, hey, listen, I think there's a lot of alignment. We'd love to set up a demo. Who else should be involved in this process and this transformation that we've talked about so that we can actually dig deeper into the product and see if there's a fit? Because what you don't want to do is actually go into a demo and it like runs over and then they're like, okay, cool, I got to run to my next meeting and you have no next steps. So you want to always look at the time. If you're at the 45-minute mark in an hour meeting, then start to think about next meeting and say, hey, we'd love to schedule a demo and show you the platform and how this transformation works. Who else should be involved? The who else part is super important because now you start to map out who are the people involved, who are the decision makers, who are the users, who's the champion. They'll help you navigate the rest of your sales process. Now, let's just say you got through the ask me, ask the why, and the narrative, and you still have like 30 minutes to go. Then you can get into a demo. If they're like, hey, we want to see a demo, then you can get into a demo. But remember, in this first conversation, especially for most of these sales calls, the more you talk about the transformation, the more you talk about their world, and less about features and more about the change, the more successful your sales process is going to be. Now, if you are jumping into a demo, there's a very specific way to actually run a demo. I did an entire episode on how to craft a killer SaaS demo. So you can check that out over here, and that way you can dig into that as well. You don't have to go right now. I'll link to the video below. So to recap, these are your 3 principles. If you want to run a killer SaaS sales call, if you want to make sure that you get that next meeting and you actually drive to a sale and you drive these incredibly sized deals, that's the whole point of a sales-driven model instead of a self-service model. You want to make sure, number 1, ask the why. Number 2, you want to make sure you frame the opportunity. The link to the manifesto video will be down below. You want to make sure you then ask for next steps or a demo, and you want to make sure you budget for time. If you want to do a killer demo, I'll link to that below as well. So those are my 3 principles on having a killer SaaS sales call. Super important, super powerful. Follow this method, it works really well. Now you know how to do a killer sales call, but if you're trying to figure out what your overall go-to-market machine is going to be, if you're building that out, if you want to scale it, if you want to get your strategic narrative right, then I invite you to join my SaaS go-to-market coaching program. Inside of the coaching program, I give you a simple step-by-step framework to follow along with my coaching to build out your ICP, your strategic narrative, and then run your go-to-market machine so you can actually get these meetings, you can actually have these sales calls, you can actually close deals. And you can also, if you want to have a self-service aspect of the business, have that as well. If you want to learn more about it, I invite you to join. It's a simple application process, and then we get on a call and we actually discuss if we're a good fit. And then we figure it out from there. Just go to tkcater.com/GTM, tkcater.com/GTM. I'll also link to it below. If you got value from this video, be sure to smash that like button if you haven't already. If you have a fellow founder, your team member that would get value from this video, salespeople that you know that should watch this video, please share this video with them. It'll mean the world to us. I also drop a video like this with actionable strategies 3 times a week. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon if you haven't already. And also, this is truly the last thing. Remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.